DeAndre, thanks for taking the time, man. Congrats on the extension. I know that was probably part of the consideration of the trade a couple months ago, but to finally have it out there and just know where you and your family are going to be, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's huge. When we first started kind of speaking with the club, it was one of the things that they mentioned that, they believe that I still got some years left in me, and, for them to kind of show that trust in me and, just show that they, still recognize my worth. It makes me want to repay it, tenfold back to the club. So I'm really excited to be here. I've been here for about 2 months or so far, and I'm loving it. My family loves it. So we're really excited to be able to extend the time here, and hopefully we can do some great things in the future.
How difficult is it to have a 2.5 month off season now after 7 or 8 games for you and Cruz and Olatunji, because it really felt like at the end of the year you guys had something good.
Yeah.
The club was trending in the right way.
No, definitely. It's obviously not the way we wanted to end it, but such is life. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. I think this 2.5 months it's pretty long, but I think everybody here is quite professional. So I know we'll all go about it the right way, and I know we still kind of got a bad taste in our mouth from how the season ended. So next year everybody's going to come back and just be ready to take it even further and do the best that we can for this club.
How do you balance kind of processing the disappointing end, but getting your mind and your body right for next season, and then you've got all the extra adjustments and everything happening anyway? So kind of what's the next look like?
Personally, I'm somebody that I'm gotten pretty good at staying present. So, while obviously the end of the season was disappointing, all we can do is look ahead. We can't go back. So from there, it's just about, keeping the body right, especially me as I'm getting older, making sure keeping my body right and, eating the right things. And on the flip side of that, still, enjoying my time off, and enjoying my family and, just mentally resetting. I think that's a big part. I think, sometimes people think it's all about the physical side, but the mental side is just as important. So, just making sure mentally I'm right and in the right mind state when I come back to give it a good go, and hopefully, I don't know how long, be here for 11 months, I think, would take us to the final next year. So hopefully can make the season longer next year.
You mentioned that mental side of the game. Your teammate Diego Luna has been outspoken about his mental health. And it's actually a finalist for the Impact Award for MLS for his work in that. Have you talked with Diego at all about his experience with that? And can you share maybe your personal experience with mental health or mental what you've gone through there?
No, I haven't spoke to him. I obviously saw the the stuff that has come out, and I know that that's been a huge help in kind of his life and just kind of jump-starting his career to get to the point that he's at now. But personally, I found out about meditation maybe 7-8 years ago when I was going through a pretty tough time when I was over in Europe. And it completely changed my, not just career, but my life, and just my perspective on things and how I view things and, how I raise my kids. And, I think it's incredibly important. At the end of the day, I think mental health is the most important thing. I think, people can speak about money and trophies and all of this sort of stuff, but, if your mind's not right, then more than likely your life isn't going well. So I think mental health is the most important thing to focus on. And it's obviously tougher, I think, nowadays with social media. I don't think that helps a ton. I think social media obviously has its positives, but, obviously definitely has its negatives as well. I know personally for me in the off season, I actually literally just signed back onto my social media to kind of collab with the club on the posts about my announcement. But other than that, I'll be back off it and just try to focus as much as I can on staying present in my family.
Before you signed off on social media, I did see that you and your family kind of went out and explored some parts of Utah, saw flats and did some hikes and stuff. Why is that important to you to kind of get out into the community that you play in?
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I'm somebody that loves nature, and obviously that was a big pull in coming here. I think some of the sights here are unmatched, so that's been awesome. So I was excited to just get out. My wife is from the Bronx, so she's from the concrete jungle, so she's never really seen anything like this place. So to be able to get out and show her that, and to show my kids, one of the things that I did when I was younger was I got out and hiked and got into nature, and I think it was incredibly important for me as a kid. So to be able to give that experience to my kids as well is huge. And then on the flip side of it, I think, I never thought I'd be living in Salt Lake. So, why not, while I'm here, go experience, everything that there is to offer here. I've tried to do that in every city I've lived in. And at the end of the day, I've learned so much about myself, through those experiences of just what I like and what I don't like, and, what I prefer and where I'd want to live after my career. Those sorts of things that, I think it's much more valuable than just staying cooped up in a house for 2 years or whatever it's going to be. So, yeah, that's why I enjoy doing those things.
Cool. And then on the soccer side of things, obviously a disappointing exit for you guys this year. It is 4 years in a row that RSL has not advanced past the first matchup in the playoffs. As an experienced player like yourself, what does it take to make a run in the postseason and be able to kind of reach your goals as a team?
Yeah, I think MLS is a little bit strange in the sense that, you have that playoff, you don't see that in a ton of other leagues in the world. So the way I like to look at it is really kind of two separate leagues. And often you'll find that just the team that gets hot at the end of the season is the team that usually ends up doing pretty well. So it's not necessarily the team that's been the best the whole year. It's just the team that gets hot at the end of the season. Obviously, you would love to be that team that's been consistent the whole year, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So obviously just finding form at the right time, staying healthy is a huge one. And then I think at the end of the day, just belief and camaraderie. I think you truly have to believe that, you can become a champion. And it's going to be, if you don't believe that, it's going to be pretty tough to become that. So I think just making sure you have that belief and then taking it game by game, not looking too far ahead of, they did this and they did this. Like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be on the field, and you're the team that's playing, and you're the one that's controlling your destiny. So just focusing on yourself and, making sure that you can do the best you can do.
Is there anything in this club culture, the locker room, the fan base that surprised you after you got here a few months ago?
I mean, I think just how close everybody is. I think, it was one of the things that they obviously told me when I was speaking with them, but, obviously you have to experience it to really get in touch with it. And yeah, everybody's so close. And I think that's great. That's the most important foundation you can have, and then you can build off that. But, I think chemistry-wise is one of the best locker rooms I've been in. So that's a really great, first step. Because like I said, if you don't have that foundation, then, everything can fall through the cracks. So to be able to build off that is huge. And then, you obviously add the players that we have, just some great young talented players. And, obviously the fan base, the stadium, it's great. The training facility, have everything we need. So now it just comes down to, making sure that we're putting in the work to be the best that we can be.
What is your message to the fans going into next year?
Just stay with us. Yeah. Stay with us. I'm very excited for the future of this team. I've obviously haven't been here for a super long time, but just in the time that I have been here, seeing the quality of these players, the staff, like I said, everything that surrounds this club is set up to succeed. So just stay with us, stay the course, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to do big things in the future.
Let me ask you a question about Rafa Cabral, goalkeeper, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Every minute of 40 games across 40 competitions. What does it take to accomplish that kind of thing over the course of the last 10 months?
It takes a incredibly high level of professionalism, a lot of sacrifice. But one thing I really respect about Rafa is, you see a lot of great players, and they'll, either they're a great player and, their family life suffers, or, they can be a great family man and dad or whatever, but, their performance on the field suffers. And for him, it seems like he has both, which I really, really highly respect. It's a great example for all of us, of how to be professional and, how to go about our work, but still how to realize that at the end of the day, family is the most important thing. And, you don't have to, one side of it doesn't have to suffer for the other side of it to still be great. So, I'm really excited that he's staying. He's a great leader for this team, great leader for this club and this city. So, I think, obviously with him behind us, things are a lot easier especially on the defensive side.
Looking ahead to 2026 could be a big year. Obviously, Diego Luna trying to make the U.S. World Cup team, Ryan Ojeda trying to make Paraguay's World Cup team, the World Cup being here, and then you got young guys like Gozo who really had a breakout year this year. Just as a teammate and as a veteran leader of this locker room, kind of how do you cheer them on and help them accomplish their individual goals as well as team goals next year?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, be there for them if they need to speak about something. I know, from the mental side of it can seem like it's a lot of pressure, when everybody's looking at you and what you're doing. I've been there before, so it can seem like a lot of pressure. So somebody to talk to if they need to just, take a bit off their shoulders. But at the end of the day, just helping them be the best that they can on the field while still trying to be the best that I can on the field. And that's what I try to do every day. It doesn't matter if a guy's trying to make a World Cup team or not. I try to empower all my teammates and not only make them perform the best they can, but make them feel the best they can. I think that's important because, like I said, I truly believe the mental side is so important. I think if you can just make guys feel, confident and really empower them, then, they're going to be much better off. So, just everything that I've been doing, just continue doing those things.
Any big plans for the next couple months?
Not really. Going to see my sister. Go over to the East Coast to see my wife's family. Go to Seattle for Thanksgiving. Usually do a trip with one of my good friends, Drake Callender. We decided on Tahoe this year, so we'll go to Lake Tahoe with him and his family, and then come back here and continue the work.
Are you watching MLS playoff games?
I haven't really been, no, to be honest. Like I said, I've been off, so I don't even know who's playing when, to be honest. Just, at the end of the day, just really trying to focus on my family. And I know the move here kind of took a lot out of my wife and my kids. So just trying to kind of make up for that time lost and just be really present with them.
Do they enjoy the reception they get when they walk in the stadium?
Yeah, they love it. Yeah. They love it. Yeah, they love it. It's great. Like I said, it's been nothing but great so far since we've been here, and I wouldn't expect anything less for the future. So we're really excited that we're able to stay.
Cool. Glad to have you, man.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.